What's up, kids? What's up? How's it going? Happy Thursday. Happy 12th anniversary to me and to us. This is crazy. I don't even really know how to start a show like this, so I'm going to just try and hop into it. I've got a bunch of stuff lined up for you guys. Um, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go, to be honest. I'm just going to try and have fun with it because this is strictly about having fun and celebrating what we've accomplished together over more than a decade. Um, I usually have an agenda with these things, whether it's a charity stream or something like that. And I did pledge to do a Give Kids the World stream for the anniversary, but there's just too much chaos going on for me to organize a proper Give Kids the World stream. So we're going to try and organize that somewhere between when we move in and the Christmas holiday to hopefully get that moving. But and I apologize for that we're not doing that just as of yet. But um, we're just here to have fun today. I see Boba Hicks here says hello and went little nerdy and says happy anniversary. Thank you, Boba Hicks. Thank you, very much, buddy. I appreciate you. Before I go any further, huge shout out to my wife Lauren, without whom this stream and many, many, many other streams would not be happening. Um, she went at the 11th hour to the mailbox to get all of the toys that I'll be revealing for the haul that I did today. Um, that I will be revealing and so forth because it's like I got nothing to show because we've everything I've gotten that I haven't shown on video that's been released has already been depackaged and put into tubs. So to give you guys an idea of what it is we're going to be doing today, we're going to talk a little bit about where this channel came from. I'm going to show you the very first video that I ever did on this channel. Um, and I'll react to it in real time. I'll tell you a funny story about it. And then we'll look at the first toy video, just kind of scrabble through it and kind of get a feel for like that when I first started collecting toys to now. And I hope that you guys will appreciate the difference between the first video and the first toy collector video, and then certainly from that first collector video 4 years ago to now. So I see that Ian made it after all. Awesome, awesome. Says Manha. I can't pronounce that. Manna. Is it Manna? I don't want to overpronounce it because it's not Mana Mana. Mana Mana. I guess it would be Mana Mana, right? Right. Right. So it's been a weird ride. I have been using YouTube as a tool to share and promote for next year. It'll be 20 years. Started in September of 2006 on my original channel, which is just called Grindhead Jim. And a lot of that had to do with music. That's why I call it Grindhead Jim Music now. I renamed it. And that's where the love of editing kind of came into the fore and everything. And when I left the industry, moved to Iowa, took a few months off to kind of get acclimated with my new job, which is very different from being a professional musician. And then started getting into like the whole movie review, Johnny come lately, funny guy stuff. And I played a character based on myself. If you removed all the metal out of me, that's kind of this character. And did movie reviews under a different YouTube name on a different YouTube channel for just shy of 2 years solid, like without any real breaks. And then dabbled in it a couple years after that. But it was in 2013 that I decided to go with a gaming channel because I was enjoying talking about gaming. I almost quit video games in 2013 after Microsoft revealed some of the crap that they did. And so that's the start of this channel and a very, very truncated story. But I've done a little bit of everything in that time. When I was just doing the music stuff, I ultimately used the same tools I used to make the videos for that channel to edit together a DVD for the third Cardiac Arrest album. I was always filming on the road. Was always putting out little teasers and snippets. And I was using YouTube the way a lot of people use social media now, doing shorter videos and stuff like that. And it's weird now that I'm not a huge fan of that stuff. It's funny how I used to do things a certain way. Now I would never dream of doing it that way. And my love of long form video kind of was born of loving the editing process. So it's been kind of crazy. Jason Garcia is in the house. Boys, sup you? How you doing, sir? What was this? Drinking vape juice. No, I was putting it in this. I am hardcore, but I'm not that hardcore. Ian says, or just watch the Muppets video with that title and go with what your ear makes out. Fair enough. Before we go any further, I do want to make sure everything looks and sounds okay. I just had a firmware update on my headset right before the show. Those are always go perfect before a show. But you'll have that. But I do want to thank everyone that's here for coming out. We are simulcasting to both YouTube and Twitch. So you're welcome in either or. Chat can see each other. So don't you worry about a thing. I've got you covered. Okay. Ian says it sounds spot on. I will take that as granted, especially given you're across the pond. So that's awesome. Good. Man, do I have to get this beard under control before we leave. This is ridiculous. So yeah, we're going to show the first video that I ever uploaded. We're going to show the first toy video I ever uploaded. I'll react to both. And then Boba Hicks also had requested through Patreon, he requested basically a state of the collection kind of a thing where we're talking about where we're at right now with the move, show the house in a little bit more detail, the toy room, kind of give you guys a more in-depth vibe on where things are going to go and how it's going to work. And I'm happy to do that. And from there, I might have some people jump on if they want to. I'm really letting this be a totally free-flowing thing past a certain point. But for now, let's go ahead and react to the first video that I ever uploaded, okay? Because you guys might find it funny. I have a suspicion that you will. So let's see here. We're going to share. We're going to scroll down there. Here we go. Share. So this will be the first video that I ever did. I'll tell you a little story about it before we actually hit play. Badger is here. Says, howdy, folks. Got about 15 minutes. Happy to say hello. Well, you'll be able to see most of this stuff. So back in 2013, this is not the very first video I ever uploaded to YouTube ever, but on this channel. I couldn't go quite that deep. But the first video I ever uploaded this channel, this was originally a video game-based channel. And at the time, I was a pretty well-regarded member of the Sony PlayStation forums. I had become a moderator. I had become kind of the guy you go to with certain types of questions. Because I had been a Sony guy, then went to Xbox for the 360, and then came running back to Sony with the PS4 announcement. And in a relatively short time, I really had built myself up to being a pretty stalwart member of the community, to the point where the Sony side, like the guys that actually from Sony's community managers, asked me to make a promotional video for the PlayStation 4 that would stay on the forums. In other words, it was kind of welcoming the community members on the forums to the PlayStation 4 era. I will tell you in advance that I didn't know dick about lighting, even though because I didn't have good lights, and I didn't know dick about color correction. So the colors are going to be really crazy. The audio is not bad, but it is just meant to be a trailer for the PlayStation 4 with my very meager means. So I'll play it for you guys, and then we'll talk about it. Whoop, that's wrong. This one.
Hey guys, PlayStation 4 is gonna be here in just a couple days. Oh! I am so excited, you guys. Holy cow. I said frog. Hey guys, this is Grindhead Jim, PlayStation MVP, Forum Warrior, and all-around nice guy, letting you know that we're here to hear what you have to say about the launch of the PlayStation 4. You've been waiting for greatness, so what are you going to do when it arrives? Are you going to blog about it? Oh my god, PS4 that's better! Or are you going to post a gaming stream? You could podcast about it. You could do an unboxing. Hey guys, I just got this. It's not open. It's going to be open, and you get to watch. Or you could just tell us right below what you thought.
Making fun of myself in the future, right?
We want to know everything. Did you stand in line? Did you make new PSN friends? Add me. What was the first game you put in, and how long did you play it?
How much work did you miss? Did they catch you skipping school?
What do you think of the feature set? How does it look? How does it sound? How does it feel?
Don't tell us how it smelled or how it tasted. That's just creepy.
Whether it's in an image, a video, a font, a rant, whatever. We want to know what you thought about the launch of the PlayStation 4 and how you felt about when you received yours. But please keep it clean and privacy friendly. Thank you. Oh my god, I'm so excited!
PlayStation.
Yeah, so my first gig, in essence, was it's just funny to me. Was doing an official Sony video, believe it or not, which I still find crazy, quite frankly. Just nuts. And I'm getting this all wrong here. So let's turn this off here. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. And yeah, the T-shirt was from Target. You know, trust me, I do this all the time. I wore it. I had that shirt for years, and I wanted something that was easily legible, right? But did the job. I didn't have any Sony shirts. I didn't have a lot of that kind of stuff. But yeah, Bobek says Babyface Jim. Well, the funny part is, like, for years prior to that, you know, like a good 7-8 years prior to that, and then prior to being the Marines, I had a beard as long as I could have one. So like me not having a beard was such an anomaly for a long time. And I grew the beard back in 2014, I think. So right after that. And that was that. I haven't shaved the beard off since. Badges. He does this all the time. Trust him. And my buddy Sam Bean, formerly of the Berserker, the Senseless. Now he's in a band called Werewolves, which is just such good stuff. I called him up drunk at like 2:00 in the morning our time, which for him was like in the afternoon. He just happened to be off. And he answers the phone. I said, "Hey man, would you help me out in writing a special little song for about 30 seconds?" And he says, "Well, cool, yeah." I said, "It's technically for Sony. I don't know how far this is going to go. I know it's going to be on the forums. It's an official thing, and we're granting them exclusive rights, at least for, you know, the first year or whatever." And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's try it. Fuck it. Let's work for corporate America. Let's go." I said, "Technically corporate Japan." He goes, "Ah." You know, and so he wrote a song that just all the music you heard that was written specifically for that video. And he knocked it out of the park. I love it. It's one of my favorite tunes he's ever done. Even though it's just noodling, it's just fun, right? It was a cool collaboration to do that way. And I had filmed in the second bedroom of my condo, which I had never filmed in there before. It was just easier to set the green screen up in there versus to drag everything out into the living room as I had done in the past. And in hindsight, I really should have been using that bedroom the whole time, because that was so much easier to do. It would have been a lot easier. So it was kind of like a hint of things to come, because I loved doing editing. But the videos that came on the channel after that, at least for the gaming, most of them were done from a tablet with no editing. I would just record, do complete, unscripted, you know, from shooting from the hip stuff, like little reviews, little snippets of news, whatever. And I would just immediately upload on YouTube, and that was that. And it just blew me away that those did better than any of the things that I was spending 19 hours, in some cases straight, editing. And it was really both encouraging and discouraging. So I kind of got away from edited content for a long time. So then I eventually got into live streaming as more of a thing with video games. It's once you get your system down, it's you just kind of fall into a hey, you're just performing live. And I really enjoyed that. It was a really good thing. I met a lot of cool people, reconnected with some folks, good stuff. And it was because of that live streaming I ended up in Texas to begin with. And then, that recent video we did because of Billy shows how we got to the Dallas-Fort Worth area because of them. So it all kind of, everything links together. And it's true of anyone's life. Everything leads to certain things, but I do feel certain things are direct causes in my life, more so than maybe other folks. I don't know. But that was the first video I ever did for this channel. And yeah, I was going to prep you guys for the beardless me. I apologize that I didn't. But yeah, I don't like me beardless either. My wife doesn't like me beardless either, so we're okay. I like how Ian says there's a touch of Rainn Wilson in the baby face. I think that's from the hair. From the hair being like product down, like gel or mousse or whatever the fuck I was using at the time. Probably just hairspray. But because at the time with my hair, because I had fairly recently, so like 2010, I stopped doing the flat top, which was my thing when I was a drummer, and then started growing my hair, but my hair didn't know what to do being long. So it got real curly and long for a bit. And then, when that ruled thing started coming to a close, I needed to find real work again. And so I cut my hair and kind of kept it shortish for a while. And then grew it out a little bit down in Alvin, Houston area. And then cut it for the film. And yeah. So my hair and beard's been all over the place now, the more I think about it, which is kind of funny to me. But it's been fun. It's been fun. I like it. I hope you like it too. I see you have braces. I have braces too. Kind of a thing going on. All right. Sorry, this thing was still sharing. And it was screwing me up. So that was that first video, and it really kind of set the stage for things. And over time, you get to a place where a lot of my videos were just kind of offshoots of the live stream. I really wasn't putting any attention into just dedicated YouTube videos. So there was a ton of content that went out. It really wasn't. I was really focused on Twitch, which was the place to live streaming. YouTube streaming, when it first came out, was not very good. It's way better now. So it was. I didn't start really live streaming to YouTube until toy collecting. So why don't we hop over to my first toy collecting video? Most of you have probably seen it, but we'll kind of scrabble through it a little bit, shall we? So let's go ahead and share that here. I'm going to close this other window so I don't actually click on it. There we go. And now we're going to share that. Share. Thank you. Share.
Video than you might be used to. You've seen me do retro gaming collection stuff like the game grinds. You certainly have heard me talk about Destiny a lot. Obviously, we've been talking about weight loss and
this
so
is
forth,
in the hotel room.
Well, by the way. But now I am actually getting back into toy collecting for the first time in really over 20 years, almost 30 to be perfectly blunt. I had a massive toy collection when I was a kid. Slowly got rid of it, some by choice, some by not. I mean, I've collected toys over the years, random things here and there, sometimes gifts given to me, things like that. But I've never had the itch to go toy hunting the way that I have been with retro video games. And even that is only about a 9-year-old hobby in and of itself for me. So this idea of me getting into toys on top of that for a while was something that I was actually fighting pretty hard. And recently, I really kind of just deep dove into a bunch of YouTube channels that are into this. Obviously, I've been into the toy chasers for...
So, like, I really did fight against being a toy collector for years. Because I would see toys that would look cool, and I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to put that. And when your life is pretty consistently inconsistent, right? I didn't feel like I had roots for a very long time. Between the Marines, knowing I'd have to move around a lot. So while you don't want to live like minimalist, I was living pretty small. And then you go to life as a musician, which, you know, money's not there, so you're living where you can. And I had really small places to live after a while. And I just didn't have space for anything. So I just was like, no, I can't do that. And I'm glad I waited to a certain degree. I just wish I hadn't waited as long as I did. But let's go back to the video.
For a long time. They're friends of mine. I'm biased. It's a thing. But also, you have to look like, I want to help somebody out. I bought them from a friend.
So I'm telling the story that we've talked about before, where I was at that show and bought a bunch of stuff from buddies, just kind of telling my collector story. Okay, here we go. Here's where we get into the nitty gritty. I think right about here should be good.
Away the Superpowers collection in the first place, but I forgive them. So we know what I'm collecting. We have a concept of what kind of budget I'm looking at, and we've talked a bit about why I want to collect. So let's talk display options and the practicality of this, right? So, when you have something, like a toy, you either want to play with it or put it on display, or a little bit of both.
Man, I really feel like, for toy collectors, like I feel like this had to be really hard to watch. Because, like, dude, I know how I'm bagging stuff. Like, I get it. But there's a... Come on. There we go.
Spider from the Avengers line. Has the Hasbro logo on it. And there's a small problem with the packaging.
Yeah. Oh, this is so funny to me. First of all, I'm using my logo to cover up the watermark for IV Cam, which I later bought a lifetime license for because I use the damn thing so much to make my phone into a camera for secondary stuff, and it's been worth every penny, right? And you can see I've got the little, relatively small green screen behind me and stuff. You know, it's good shit. There's so much. TJC, good to see you, brother. Says, evening all, good to catch up, Jim. Hope I'm very well. We're going to talk more about that in a bit here, because after we go over this here, we're going to be going into kind of what's happening. I'm going to kind of show you guys some pictures of the new place and the toy room in my office, and give you an idea of where things have been as far as the progress on packing and everything. So what we're looking at right now, for those of you that are just joining up, this is my first toy collecting video, and I'm making fun of myself because I am so green at toy collecting, and I'm talking about this Avengers line Spider-Man, Iron Spider. It was the only Spider-Man I could find at a decent price at the time, and I don't realize he's out of scale, and I'm about to call out this problem with the packaging, which is a Hasbro thing. They wrap the plastic around the side of the card back as a means to keep it from just flying off the card. And I think it's some kind of a mistake or a bootleg or something. I don't really know what I'm talking about. I think it's hilarious. You know, and this alternate camera angle is fun for me. But I realized very quickly that green screen, you can't show it, so you show it to the other camera that doesn't have chroma on it.
I was able to find a very good deal on GameStop for both of those figures, meaning I just paid retail, and I was perfectly happy with it. So I went ahead, got those, and they came. really great figures. Let me show you. This is my Jonah Jameson figure. Aside from some scuffing on the front of the bubble, he's in really good shape. Perfect. Not a thing wrong with him. Love the packaging. Not a huge fan of the 90s Spider-Man logo in general, but that's okay. This is a great throwback figure, and
Listen to just how relaxed I am about everything. I'm not complaining about nothing. Like, I'm still not quite sure. Like, am I an inbox collector? Am I a loose collector at this point? Knowing that I'm not going to be displaying this stuff for a while, I'm just kind of like really admiring the toys in their package, because I have that luxury in a sense. And then I would find out, like, within less than 3 months, like, that's not sustainable. You have to open these toys and you have to bag them if you have any chance of sustaining a collection moving forward. So it's funny in many ways.
effects, like, it's great. Even look at the back card. That's the apartment from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Oh my God, is it? But Marvel Legends didn't really do a lot of that at the time, as I recall. And they still don't, really. At least in the single pack figures, they don't do that. So that was kind of special. The fact they even made a Firestar figure 4 years ago was pretty crazy to me at the time. And it still is to a degree. You know, you finally get that amazing Spider-Man Amazing Friends 3-pack, you know, like a year and a half later, which was a no-brainer at that point. But you know, my goal up front with Marvel Legends, like, I have Stan Lee, which I bought like 2 years prior. I bought him in 2019. So I was like, and I thought to myself, I'm gonna have this Stan Lee, and that's gonna be my stand-in for all the Marvel stuff. I was trying to like compromise with myself to keep myself from getting a toy collection, right? And we all see how that worked out. So, and then I go into like, I think I show off some superpower stuff. Oh yeah, the Doctor Doom. I was in love with that shipper box. It hurt to throw that away when I did. I think I threw it away. And the funny part is, and this is something that I think you guys are going to get a kick out of, like, I'm drooling over this over and over again in this video. I just bought the reissue of it. So I've been collecting long enough that this was a brand new Doctor Doom figure, and they've reissued it, and I bought one. And I bought it only because of two things. One, and number one, I lost one of the foot jets effects. And two, if I ever broke this Doctor Doom, I'd be heartbroken, crestfallen. So I went ahead and got another one, just to make absolutely certain that I always had a Doctor Doom. No Stanley Tucci, brother. But it's fun to hear like the joy.
And he is a beautiful figure. Just beautiful. There's a Legends version of this that is a little bit, has a darker color palette, which is very nice. But this is a nice blend between realistic, comic, and cartoon aesthetics to really just give me all the nostalgia and make me feel like I'm buying something worth the money. It's a great figure. Cannot say enough good things about it. I will give Hasbro a lot of credit for keeping the majority of all of these Marvel lines in the same scale so you can mix and match based upon your aesthetic. And your
not really.
Fantastic Four, when they come out with a set that I like, the only Fantastic Four member that's been out recently that I like is The Thing, and you can't find him anywhere. I'm sure there'll be
like a month later they announced that was the start of the Fantastic Four launch, which is the first new Marvel Legends that I ever pre-ordered, and I made like a video on my Patreon about pre-ordering the Fantastic Four. It was such a big deal to me, which I found kind of funny. Did I already pass through all the superpower stuff? I think that's weird. Okay, so there's Stan Lee. yeah, I guess I don't show off superpowers in that. That's crazy. That's weird. All right. Well, fair enough. And I realize I'm not going to make you guys sit through a 27-minute video. But I think just hearing my voice a little bit probably was fun. But it's funny, like, how much I knew already as far as, like, what to look for in condition and how to regard things. But there was such a raw innocence and joy about each toy that I still try to appreciate, even when there's like a bunch of boxes, right? I don't feel less joy than I did. I feel plenty of joy. Gotta have that dopamine hit, right? But I think now the difference is I'm just happy that it made it to me safe. I'm happy to have it. And then my brain immediately goes to where am I putting it, you know? And with the new toy room, I think that's going to be a much more joyous process because as we continue to work through the toy room, which will be an ongoing thing as part of our content creation, there's going to be a place to put stuff, right? So I know we didn't play much of that video, but I don't feel like sitting here watching my old videos is really the best use of our time per se. But I hope you guys would find it interesting. Did you enjoy that? You know, and if so, what did you get from that? You know, as far as seeing and hearing my voice then versus now, did you think that there's an almost indefinable something about my voice then, about how I'm talking about this, like kind of like I hate to keep using the word innocence, but it really does feel like baby collector, like I just want all this stuff, and I still want all this stuff, but it's like, well, now I have a lot of this stuff, and I have to be really careful with what I do and don't get, you know. Yes, I completely agree, Ian. Like it's much more of a um, it's embracing this new thing, something that I'd kind of wanted to do for a long time, but I just didn't allow myself that luxury, and just being able to dive into it like that was really cool for me. Huge sense of joy, and I still feel that joy. I just don't express it the same way, I think, because for one thing, a lot of the unboxings and hauls, I just don't video them that much anymore, which I want to get back to because it's gonna make more sense in time. Because we're just gonna have space to do it, frankly. So, speaking of that, let's go ahead and get into that if you would like. We're going to show you kind of the space we're moving into, just a couple of the rooms. Um, Garcia says, "You're like Princess Jasmine as Aladdin is about to show you a whole new world." You're not wrong. So I'm very, very conscious. Like, okay, do you trust me? Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit of that for sure. And by the end, by the end of the year, I'm singing because you have to remember, like I had only ordered like 2 vintage Superpowers figures, and I hadn't held them in my hands in 40 years. There's a video after that, I believe, is the one that actually shows off where I talk about how I plan to package my figures, which for the most part I have kept to. The only part of that I don't do the same thing with the bags is that I don't always use the acid-free bags anymore, just because I know it's going to be temporary, right? And I don't use rubber bands anymore. It's just too many moving parts. It's just easier for me to do stuff. But yeah, a whole new world. So let's see what we got here. So what do you want to see first? No, actually no. I'm gonna show you guys in a specific order what's going on here. So this is okay. I think I should be able to find this. So we share. We go down here. Is that it? No. Other direction, right? No. No. I gotta find the right one. Okay. I think that's right. Here we. Nope, that ain't it. I'm just gonna have to click on the one I want. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of blow you through like kind of what's happening here. So this is just I took pictures real quick last night, just kind of to show the process that we're packing toys with. So basically, what we're working towards, the toy room is in shambles. Like the shelves are in the same state they were in last you saw them, except now they're surrounded by stacks, skyscrapers of boxes and totes of other stuff. And what I've been having to do is slowly tear these mountains of cardboard and plastic down and put them into bins. But we're keeping these newly packed bins out here, which is not easy. So we're slowly working towards getting that floor clear, then getting a beeline to the closet so we can pull the other bins that we already have in there out. So we can resort them, begin that process, depackage all the mountains of toys that are in there. So now, ultimately, we'd be left with taking everything out of the closet, having it in these larger storage bins that we're using. We're using storage bins now that are double the size of what I used in the past. And then we're, like I said, going to resort those so that everything's, by toy line and stuff. And then go back in and then take all the loose stuff and put them into the properly sorted bins. And now we'll just have stacks of bins. Be a few more days of work before it's done, but we're getting there. Doing a little bit every day. And today is going to be doing this to the stuff we got today, which I'll show you in a bit. So what you see here in this picture is just like a stack of toys that are next to me. There's a Flint right there, a couple of vintage collection Snow Troopers, the 6-pack from Target of the Turtles. There's other stuff around me at the time, but just to show you, they're just random willy-nilly toys that I have access to in that moment. And then I'm using bags like these. I have like 500 some odd bags ready to go. This, for example, is just a Ziploc quart bag. It's what you see in the picture. We've got gallon sliders for the larger figures and stuff. So those bags are ready to go. And they end up looking something like this. Like they end up bagged in these little sandwich baggies, and you see you've got the bubble trash right there, which is about to get thrown out, and we're just condensing this stuff into bags. Like you guys that do collect, you know how this goes. And just doing that in the moment, and then getting it into bags. This is all of the mini comics from all the Motu related characters that I've been bagging. It's a big stack of mini comics. I've been through a lot of those figures in the last couple of days, and this should show you just how big these bins really are. So on this side, the closest to us on the bottom is that's a treble bubble. And then in the cardboard, the one that has a shipper box around it, that's a Stinger. And then you've got one of the Constructicons in there. You're just kind of, at this point, because I don't have a G.I. Joe dedicated box yet, I don't have a Transformers dedicated box yet, I'm just kind of letting them be, because I'm not taking them out of their boxes just yet. In fact, the larger things, I'm not taking them out of boxes if they're big things, because they're more well protected in the package than they are otherwise. But not all larger packages get that treatment. So like we took that 6-pack, that is of turtles. It's a box. It's about as big as my elbows and my hands right here, and we cut that down to some bags of toys that are about this big. Like it hardly any space at all. Ian says that's not a case. That's a bathtub. You're right, and we have 12 of those, and I have 6 more coming tomorrow, and I expect them all to be filled with toys before we're done. They are 26 gallons. I don't know what that is in liters, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And then you put the bagged figures on top, and that's that. One of the things we're doing is I'm using this red gaffer's tape to write on the lids, for now anyway, what's in there. So anything that is miscellaneous, it just says sort, meaning it needs to be sorted. And I do have a box that's going to be at least mostly Motu, and TMNT I know is going to be a whole bin by itself. And it's working out real well because gaffer's tape will stick really well, but also has the added property of being really easy to take off. It's very weird. Like, it sticks well, but if you really want to get it off, it'll come off. And just to show you, just to reiterate Ian's point here, this is what 4 of these bins look like stacked. You see. So, that's 4 26-gallon, 27-gallon tubs stacked, plus the box that the Wayne Manor came in that Badger sent, and a pillow, and it reaches the ceiling. I put 2 more bins, we've reached the ceiling completely, and these are not short ceilings. These are like 9-foot ceilings, something like that. So it's kind of crazy. They're minimum of 3 meters. So, and this is just some of what's there, right? And Gojatron's here, love to see it. Says, I would hate to move the collection. Best of luck. Good that you're reorganizing while packing. Yeah, we have to. Otherwise, it's not going to be much fun at all when we actually do end up doing the move and setting things up. Because the whole goal of all of this, as you guys have heard me say before, is that I want to have fun when it comes time to really setting up the display I've been wanting from day one. And, we get closer to that. I salivate a bit more, right? I get a bit more excited about these things. And so it is really making me kind of, it's reinvigorating me, because when I first started collecting and I was having to bag things and put them into these storage containers, it was very demoralizing to have to do, to not be able to enjoy the toy right away. And I was worried I would be having the same thing over again. I'm not. I'm actually getting more in touch with the toys, no pun intended, and knowing that they're going to be organized in such a way that I want to get my G.I. Joes out today. I'll be able to do that. I want to get my superpowers out. I can do that. That's the plan, and I think we'll get there. Even if we don't get exactly as close as I have set out to do, we'll be a lot closer than I was getting into here in the first place. So it'll be something. And Garcia says, this gives me PTSD from my move from KC. Over 40, 36 to 55 gallon totes over 5 trips. Yeah, that's a lot. And so we're very much in the same boat here. Because here's the other thing. Yes, I have 18 of these gigantic totes, and they are 27 gallons. Anything bigger I thought was going to be overkill, and I wanted these more robust ones. But I also have the totes that I originally moved in with. So I have no idea how many I'm going to end up using. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use all the 27s. But it's nuts to have to do this. But again, once we're in Oregon, we're gonna have one more move to go after that, and I'm gonna try and take my lessons learned from this and put it into that. Plus, it'll be a local move, so that'll be a little bit easier. Um, at least in the sense of I don't have to pack them for a cross country trip. I just have to get them over to the house in one go. And depending upon where we end up in the area, we're talking about, a couple of minutes to drive, maybe 10 minutes. At the biggest, it could be 30 minutes away, right? And I don't have to move all the toys at once, right? For example, moving Eternia, if you think I'm going to try to disassemble that beast, you're out of your mind. Once it's assembled, it stays that way. And then we'll just put it gingerly in the vehicle, pat it or whatever, have someone sit in the back so it doesn't tip over or whatever. And then you just bring that into the house. That's a whole trip is play sets, right? And then figures, yeah, you're going to have to bag them a little bit, but it's worth it. Because here's the other side of it. I'm bagging them now, okay, with all of their accessories and whatnot. But as we unpack and display them, extra accessories are going to go on those fishing tackle boxes, also organized by toy line. So if I'm not using it actively on the display, it's already in a storage unit, organized. I don't have to do that over again, right? So then it's just stick the figure in the bag as it is and then take it out and put it on the shelf kind of a thing. Be much faster process. Garcia says, if I ever move again, I'm downsizing like hell, selling almost everything, then restart collecting small curated items. I thought about it even for this move. But I'm like, no, I'm not gonna let this beat me. And Lauren's been too dedicated to this collection and seeing it and really enjoying it at the level it needs to be, because like this collection has not had its day in the sun, not really, and it will before I consider selling any of it off. It's tough. It is tough to have been doing this for almost 5 years and not really been able to really appreciate it the way that it deserves to be appreciated. But with that, let's take a look at the house a little bit. And although I am going to show the living space a little bit, just to give you an idea of what we have there, it's mainly going to be about my office and how that's going to differ from what I've had here, and then moving into the actual toy room, what that's going to be. And after all that, then I've got a bunch of stuff that came today I want to share with you guys, and then we'll just hang out. All right? So let's see here. Share. Is this the right one? Nope. It's up here, isn't it? Yep, that's it. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is more or less as you walk in our front door. All right, so we got this long living space, and this is the actual unit as it exists now. It's not a model home or anything. This is our actual place. So we are going to use this for our couch. A TV will be across from us, normal stuff, and then we'll have a dining table in there, but we'll also, like, all of my movie shelves, video gaming shelves are going to be on that far wall with the dining tables. So that's where that part of the collection is going to reside. And then, so again, this left side of the wall is going to be where all the collection stuff kind of sits. And then we'll have some storage right by the stairs, short shelves for board games, because we will be using our dining table mainly to play board games. And then the kitchen here, nothing to do with the collection at all, but it was going to have some nice Jasper space under the window and whatnot. But there's plenty of space for us to actually cook and be a little bit healthier, and I'm happy for that. Now, when you go upstairs, this will be my office. So it's not a small space. Not quite as big as I have now, but it's pretty fucking big. And the desk is going to reside on the right side of that corner. So the back of my desk will be on the wall where you see that mirror. And I plan to have, like right now, my desk has the second desk on my right. It will be on the left. So it'll be on, so there'll be a gap from the window to there. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that exactly, but it's good space to have. And this is still the same room. So that closet, those doors are probably going to come off, or at least stay open all the time. And I'll have a lit shelf in the closet for the nicer toys, right? So Masterverse, Mezco, Mafex, really precious toys like old Mego stuff that Salzburg and some other folks have sent along. Those are all going to go in there. But that's always going to stay shut. This is purely display pieces, and that's that. And the idea is to have something that's nice and curated. It's an ease of view for doing any kind of streaming or whatever out of the office, but it's just the office. It purely exists as a place to work, create, and enjoy. It is not a place for the kind of chaos that a collection room tends to invite. And then we actually get to the toy room itself, which is not done. So all the walls and the ceiling are going to get painted. The walls are going to be white. The ceiling I'm going to paint black. And then the floor is going to be a rubberized. I've moved away from epoxy and other sealants. And I've decided to go with like a more padded PVC flooring. And it's going to be a lot less expensive, faster to install. And if the next owners don't like it, they can just rip it off, which is easy. But it'll still be a value add, still makes the place usable. I'm looking forward to that. I got to get a hold of the contractor tomorrow and double check some dates on stuff. But this is the toy room. Like, it's huge. So you can see way in the distance is, the toy room is going to have a Motu mural. Don't worry about that. Because in the right-hand corner, there's going to be 5 tables. So you're going to have, they're going to be each 2 meters wide and about a little over half of, and then the depth is about a half a meter. And then so 2 of those tables next to each other, and then 2 of them going this way, and then 2 coming towards us, and then 1 crossing out. So you have this little U section here. And so the first thing you see when you walk into that room is going to be all of my Motu. I mean, all of it. And I think I have enough table space for everything with what I'm ordering. If I don't, I'll just get more. That's the philosophy. We keep adding until we have enough space. Get all the Motu stuff out. Blam! And then the shelves will be split between the left wall and the right wall. And then I'm probably going to have more tables on the left side here under these hanging shelves. And that's where other stuff's going to live. Like, there's going to be a big Marvel thing going on where I do plan to have a little bit of everything. I don't know if I want to have a big battle scene or if I want to have like separate teams and maybe a battle scene. I haven't decided yet. I have so many Marvel figures, I don't know what exactly to do. But I think they'll be more or less kind of separated into teams and posing dynamically and having fun. And I'm going to have to get some interesting things going on with acrylic stands and whatnot so you have different verticality of everything that makes sense. But I think the Marvel Legends stuff is going to be way open. The G.I. Joe classified stuff is going to be way open. And then the shelving will be more for everything else. But there's so much space. It's crazy amount of space in there. It's 2 cars deep and a car and a half wide. So yeah, I think it'll stand the test, don't you? So that's what that is going to be. could not be more excited for that space. Be more excited. That is until it's finished, so they actually do the painting and whatnot. But the idea of having a rubberized floor makes way more sense for me in the long run, just because the sealants I was looking at, I was really happy about it, and I was kind of on this kick where I really wanted to raise the value of the house, but we don't think we're even going to sell the house when we move into our 5 ever home. We're probably going to generate income off of renting it. So you want to raise the value of the house, but you don't want to raise the value unnecessarily. So making it a usable space with the PVC rubberized flooring, you can still put a carpet down on that, and suddenly that's a bedroom. You know what I mean? Which is the intention. We want to make it something where it's a usable space. But if you want to use it for a garage, you can totally use it for a garage. We even have an outer door, which I was going to show you, but I guess I forgot to do that. But there's an outer door with a little foyer that leads to an inner door to the house. And I'm like, why don't we put a keypad lock on that back door so that delivery people could just leave it there? And I might skip the whole post office box thing. I haven't decided yet. Jason's asking, is this like gym mat rubber? It's not rubber, it's PVC. So it has a bit more. So it's kind of like it is closer to a hard rubber like that, but it also leans. So it's got that firmness and stability, but just enough softness, like say a wrestling mat, one of those roll-out wrestling mats. So it's like a nice amalgamation of the two. Very impact resistant, totally feasible for cars, but also is nice enough on your feet and your knees and stuff. So better for toys and impacting and not losing parts and shit like that. I'll be using it's not gonna be black. It's gonna be like a dark gray, which I think is a good contrasting color. So if I have a black piece that falls, I'm not gonna lose it forever, But that's what that's gonna be. It's the one I'm looking at right now is called G Floor, G-Floor, and I've seen some stuff on it, and it's quite nice. It's generally regarded as pretty good stuff, and I believe it can be installed, last I checked, for about half of what the sealant was going to cost. So it works for me. But now I've got a haul for everybody, for those of you that want to see it. And this is all literally stuff that came today. Just today. So I move this shirt. And I'm going to move my camera angle. Well, no, I don't have to yet. So we're going to start with something that I thought I wasn't going to get, but I saw that I could. The main reason I didn't want to get this toy is because I didn't want to pay aftermarket, after death prices for somebody who is problematic. And I found it at retail price from a vendor that I love, Nerdzoic, so I bought it. And then, of course, is Hulk Hogan, brother. This is the Ultimate version. Ultimate Edition. This is just the regular Ultimate. He's got 3 heads. It's got the soft goods Hulkamania. It's got a championship belt, some exchangeable hands there. Does the job, right? It's a pretty cool Hulk Hogan figure if you're into that sort of thing. The one that I got with that Mean Gene is really cool, but it's not a classic Hulk, and this is pretty classic. I'm still gonna make sure I pose him, get his ass beat. So don't worry about that. That's gonna happen. Keeping in the 1/12 scale, I've got G.I. Joe Classified. I got Alpine finally. His price dropped over on Big Bad, so I pulled the trigger. I might have got him somewhere else, but he was on sale. And then I also got Doc from Nerdzoic, because I had mentioned on one of the more previous streams that I was looking for this. And it just so happened that Nerdzoic had it, so I got him. Why not? Great figure. They look awesome. They really do. I'm very stoked on those. Shifting gears ever so slightly, we've got a 4K of Deadpool and Wolverine. This was on sale at Amazon for like $13, and I said, "Well, if you're going to give me a 4K disc, a Blu-ray disc, special features, and the digital, which includes the bonus features, let's go." So I got it, and I was buying some of this stuff you're about to see from Target, and I needed to hit a certain threshold to trigger a coupon. And we had recently seen there are official Monopoly expansions that went out, and I think this is going to be really cool. So it's a physical addition to your board with different. It's a whole thing. It adds to the game. Gives them the game piece. It was really inexpensive, and it got me over that threshold. So we pulled the trigger on that. So I was pretty happy about it. The real iron, the real wrong star, gotcha. Sorry, man. I'm doing well. How are you? It's not a trip. It is a pretty cool trip. Couple more of these figures. So this one first. This is still on sale at Walmart for $15. I got one, and then they said they couldn't deliver it. They were returning it to the store, giving me the impression that like this wasn't gonna. I wasn't gonna get it, so I ordered another one, and that one arrived the next day, and it's already in one of those storage bins. So now I have a carded one extra. So this will be going into the for sale pile eventually. I figure about 6 months to a year, people are going to want them. I got me a comic accurate Adam Warlock. Again, when you give me a good price, I can't say no. It's beautiful. I love this little comic that he comes with, which is quite nice. Looks awesome. Love the color scheme. Couldn't say no. So he's there. And now we get into some 1/18 scale. I need to give a shout out to Will from Wilhelm Toyman Hobby for making me aware these even existed. We're starting with the Sam Wilson Captain America, which I didn't have. Been chasing. He, again, was on sale. Managed to get him. But what I'm talking about primarily are these MCU Fantastic Four from the film. And they're all 1/18 scale. Good price, especially with the coupon that I had. So you get Mr. Fantastic, Human Torch, The Thing in full gear, Invisible Woman, which is nice, Herbie, and even Franklin Richards as a baby. Pretty cool set. And then they have this additional set, which is the Fantastic car and a more traditional looking Thing without a shirt. What I love about it is that the car actually has a little holder mechanism that you can put the Human Torch next to and fly together. So I got the whole set of 1/18 Marvel stuff. And my Galactus, Titan Galactus that scales with these, came in yesterday, the day before. So Giraffe, welcome to the stream, says, Mr. Fantastic, I don't know, looks like a plastic man to me. You're not wrong, though. You're not wrong. Well yeah, they're both Target exclusive here in the States, and there was no reason not to get the car if they're going to give us the car, and to get a Thing without the sweatshirt on was cool. I haven't seen the movie yet, so don't say anything. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I saw enough to know the designs are cool, and it's an easy way to get 1/18 scale Fantastic Four figures. Why wouldn't I? I also recently picked up off of eBay a reissue. This is the 2021 reissue Turtle Blimp, and I really wanted the box, so I made sure to get one that was in box and sealed. Box is in great shape. Yeah, it's not the same as the one that we had when we were kids, but I've never had one at all. This was below retail price that they were offering it at, so I said to hell with it. I'm buying this. I wanted it, and it came. Also, in Turtles that came today but did not make it to the door, is the recently reissued Foot Cruiser, which is really just the neutrino vehicle. I don't know why they call it the Foot Cruiser, because they can't apparently have a civil conversation with each other when they're doing designs. But I would have gladly shown that off today. It's just it arrived after Lauren was at the mailbox, so really didn't have a choice in that matter. Now I've got 2 more toys to show you, but in my opinion, I have saved the best for last. Just be a moment here to clear some space for myself so I don't trip over my stuff. Make sure I didn't trip on anything. All right. Now we're going to back out of the thing here. Jason says, I feel like I should get that set from your brother's HasLab Galactus. You really should. It's not an expensive set. It's $40. If you just want to get just the figures without the car and everything, like $35-$40. Rockstar says, wait, is this for the reissue for the retro figs? Yes, it is. And they're the same exact scale. So if you never had a blimp, but you want a boxed one, you can still get those from the 21 line. They're not hard to get. Going right around 40, but I have a cheapskate, so I got one for 30. But I have the van, the Technodrome, the sewer layer playset. I'm missing the Foot Cruiser. And then I also have the Mutant Mayhem playset. But all of these scale with the reissue classic figures they've been putting out for a couple of years. They also scale with the new reissue retro figs that have the more, the better articulation. They all scale together, so you can mix and match as much as you want. Picked up the 4 Turtles when I saw them a year or so ago. Dang, didn't realize they brought so much out. They have. Most of the vehicles and playsets are Amazon exclusive, and most of them you can get Technodrome right now for less than retail. It was $90 when it came out, and I've seen it go as low as $30. So you could still get the Technodrome if you want one. The sewer layer just came out, so you should probably still be able to get that. You'll get that at retail. Foot Cruiser just came out. The blimp and the van, a little harder to find, but not ridiculously priced. So depending on what you want, I would recommend going after them. I think you have to. So here's my coup de grace. Now, you guys know around here, I love myself some kaiju. And that includes big motherfucking dinosaurs. And so I got to be some big dinosaurs because I could not say no to a Mosasaurus. When I saw this was coming out, I was always going to get this. It was never a question of getting it or not getting it. Target recently brought these down from retail price of $75 down to $50 to $51, which is by itself a really good sale. Okay, so they did that, and then I was able to use 2 coupons today at Target. One was $20 off anything over like $90, and then it was like another like 25 or like 15 or 20% off a single toy. So I got these 2 things that are $75 a piece out the door after taxes for $78. So I said, deliver it to me before you change your mind. And then this is the new Super Colossal Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, these are not assembled, okay? As you can see, they are 99 centimeters in length, which is over 3 feet to Americans. When they're fully assembled, head to tail, they're like this. Like they're huge. Let me show you what that looks like. Yeah. This. So it starts here and ends there. So it's like, it's the whole screen almost. That's how long these things are. And I already have a T-Rex in a different color scheme. I have a Indoraptor in that size. I have a Giganotosaurus in that size. So I have a second T-Rex, and that paint job is way better in my opinion. And then the Mosasaurus, sea monster. Come on, why not, right? And they've been kind of hidden in the bottom shelf of some of my shelves for about 2 years now. But now I've got all this space. It's like I'm gonna find a way to display those that are really satisfying. Um, just big, huge toys. They almost scale perfectly with 112 scale, and they're just a tiny bit too big for 118. But if you just squint your eyes a little bit, it all works, and it's all fun. It doesn't matter, what scale you're in. These super colossals kind of work for everything, and they actually have this working mechanism where you can stuff figures down their throat, and they'll kind of like bleh out of their gut, cool them out, which is kind of fun. But basically, to get them buy one get one was a no-brainer because the Mosasaurus was a must-have, and the T-Rex would be a nice-to-have. And I always wait for these things to go on sale because they inevitably do. They sell well, but not so well. And because a lot of times they're exclusive, it's kind of hard to move them. But let me show you what the Mosasaurus looks like assembled on the box. It's pretty cool, right? It's pretty cool stuff. Very, very pleased to get these. Not pleased to have to move with them. But when someone says, hey, we're going to take 30% off of these and make it our new retail price, but oh, by the way, you also get another fucking almost $50 off for clicking a few buttons, I'm like, gimme. So I took the deal. I took the deal, right? But we've got some Amber Collection stuff, and those scale pretty well with these. The Amber Collection is the 112 scale. So I have like 4 or 5 of the Velociraptors. I've got 2 or 3 Pterodons. No, I've got 1 Pterodon, maybe 2. So they all play very nicely together. So it's going to be a question of like, well, how do I'm probably just going to have a table for them, to be honest, and kind of do up a background. And then I have a 118 scale Jurassic Park set that Badger gave me graciously. I'm looking forward to displaying them all together. That'll be fun. Like, this is cool. Like, these are just fun toys to play with. I did a review on the channel. If you just go to my channel and in the search bar look Mega Colossal, I talk about the 2 of them and kind of show them off. And it's one of my better performing videos too, which is kind of funny. But I'll keep buying these big dinosaurs as long as they keep making them because, man, I just love them. It makes me feel like a kid to play with them. And of course we'll get Hulk Hogan to get eaten by the Mosasaurus or something. Like that's one of my biggest things that I'm looking forward to when we finally finish this move and get to where there's like, diorama level displays of everything. Then it becomes a matter of doing photography and machinima style video and just having fun again with toys. Because it's fun collecting. It's sometimes relaxing to organize things, but for me the real fun is just walking over to a shelf and picking up a toy and reposing them, playing with them, making up little stories in my head. I miss that stuff. I miss that stuff a lot. And so all of this work, all of this prep, all of the deal hunting, all the content, all of it's leading kind of to this this next big step, which is really having the collection display the way that it should be. And it feels good. As we get closer, like we're, don't tell Lauren this, but we're 2 weeks to the day from the movers arrive. So we had to hustle. But there's not the list of what we have to do is pretty short. Like we basically have to get the car, get a tune up, clean it out so that's ready to get going with. So we got someone to drive the car and babysit Gabby. Their primary job is to babysit Gabby and get our car from here to there. We're flying up the night of when the movers come to pack all our stuff in the truck. We are flying to Portland with Jasper, our cat, and then we're staying in a relatively nice hotel for a couple of days before the movers get there, and we get to relax, and then we just get to live in our place. Much less stress for us. So we have to, do a tune-up of the car, get that ready to go. I'm going to clean out my old car, grab the few things I want out of it, and then we're going to junk the car. Once we have those two things done, the only other thing left really is packing our luggage for like clothes and stuff, which we're halfway there really because she's been doing so much laundry to make sure we get what we want, and packing the toy room, which we're well on our way with. So I'm very confident we're going to be fine. It's still stressful getting through it, but I don't regret it. This is great. I'm looking forward to it, especially given that the movers are packing everything else. The only other stressful thing I have to do is unhook all the electronics, both in the office and here, which that sucks. But that's not going to be that difficult in the long run. So Ian says, I don't have any dinos, but I do have the dragon from Honor Among Thieves movie toy line. I've heard good things about that dragon and a couple other ones, so I love that. D-Day is indeed nigh. That is correct. And it's funny for all the things that I've prepped for to avoid as much work as possible. There's still so much work to do, but we are as prepared as we can get for all those things. We'll have the toy room done. If we continue to do a little bit each day, I figure that by this time next week it'll be done. Short of some boxes that I don't want to put in storage bins, I'm going to have the packers build boxes around these things, like double boxes, to protect empty boxes. It's like a lot of Motu stuff has nice structure, but you kind of Tetris them together and build a box around it, and that's what I'm going to have them do for all that stuff. Unless I have the extra space. I'm not going to buy more bins for that when they're going to be coming with cardboard boxes anyway, But beyond that, should be relatively smooth sailing. Fingers crossed. So, but yeah, 12 years of this, man. And it's wild to me that this channel has existed for 12 years, and over a third of that has been mainly as a collection-based, toy-based channel. There was 4 years of like a pure gaming channel, but a lean into Destiny, and then there's that 4-year middle ground where I really wasn't doing a whole lot with it, with the channel at all. The occasional video here and there. So it kind of like there was a lull for a bit, but I have been so happy to see the evolution of things now, where I can just talk about the art of collecting and the psychology behind it. And I think it's going to be really interesting that I start with all that ethereal stuff and then come back around to actually curating the collection the way it's supposed to be curated. So, and in case you did not already know, if you hadn't seen the video about this, moving forward, YouTube members and Patreon members will get live streams of me working on the display, and then that footage will get used in produced videos as time lapse, and we'll be doing shorter. You won't get to see the whole stream, but it'll be a nice big chunk video talking about a display. So like the one video might be about Eternia, unboxing it and setting it up. One video might be about the other play sets and so on and so forth. And just that slow evolution, and then one big video showing the diorama when it's finished. And then moving on to the next toy line and so forth. Jason says, helpful Tip with the totes, zip tie labels to the lids so you know what's in each one. Also helps to keep people from trying to open them. Yeah, so what I'm actually doing is taking gaffer's tape, and I'm going to tape it on each side of the bin and the top. And then I'm going to have them do 2 strips of shrink wrap to keep them shut. It's kind of like my tamper-proof thing. So I'll know what's in it, and it'll have the, what you call it? It would just be that sealed. That's the plan anyway. And I know it's extra work for them, but I don't care. So I want to make sure that everything works the way it's supposed to work. Because like once they've wrapped, that's done. And then they'll all be stacked in the garage, and I'll figure it out. And I don't have to. I have no pressure to unpack everything at once. I don't want to. I want to get the tables in there, and I want to set those tables up, and then I want to set up my. The first thing I want to set up is Eternia. Before I even open a single figure, I want to get Eternia up in that motherfucking garage, and then the other playsets, and then the figures, and the vehicles. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be fun. Ian says, my day 6 for Figtober this month was my customized dragon from Thieves. Should give you an idea of what it looks like scale. Nice. Okay. I'll take a look at that, man. That's cool. I love me some dragons, man. I just put the Legends of Dragonor, the red dragon guy, Ignitor, they call him. He's basically a Motu figure. He's just in the box, in a bin there. I can't wait to open him up and put him together. I'm so stoked on that character. And he's going to be used as a mount and stuff. But like I said, it's been wild. It's been really wild. And I want to take a second to cheers you guys with water. I was going to have a beer out here, but I just didn't think to do it. So, Jason says, blog the toy room setup. Like people who buy crack houses in blog reviews. Well, yeah, we're going to vlog it. Like, that's going to be the whole thing. It's going to be like live streams for the patrons and then vlogs for the main channel. So if you don't want to do a membership or for Patreon or YouTube, you'll still get access to all that stuff. And that's going to be the bulk of content until the toy room is done. And then from there, it'll be like little features on a specific toy or a group of toys or whatever, more focused on why I have it, why I love it, not less so a review of its merits. You know, if you're looking for that, you'll get like first impression videos. Like once my toys are just out, I'm like, I want to talk about that today. I'm gonna grab it off the shelf, sit down in front of the fucking camera, and fucking do it. That's what I've always wanted. And then when a new toy arrives or toys arrive, I'll film a haul video for all the members, and then take each snippet of that and then cut it into a video like, hey, I just got this, we're going to put it on the shelf. And those are going to be little YouTube shorts. You know, this stuff will not make itself, but like content for me is going to feel a lot easier, for sure. Because we definitely want to do that. Melvor was going to come out and film the toy room as it exists now, and then gave me a little interview, kind of like a toy room up to this point kind of report. And he still might do that, but he's been having car trouble, so he can't really get around. So if that changes, I'm still going to have him do that. But otherwise, I will be filming some stuff here in a bit, and then, you know, we'll make that all part of content moving forward. So, Ian says, sounds like a good plan. And Jason says, I'd get lost in the sauce. Open the tote, spend 2 hours playing with the first toy before I even set anything up. Yes, I am want to do that too, which is why I'm setting a specific goal for myself. Not to mention the fact that this is the most important piece of this decision. How Eternia sits in those configuration of tables determines where everything else goes. So I have to get that right before I can move forward. with a diorama. So I have a very keen idea how it's going to fit and where it's going to fit. But that may change once I get the damn thing out, because it's not small. Like, it's tall. It's a big boy, you know, which is what I want. It's what you pay for, right? So I'm going to be. That's kind of why I'm being conservative with that. One, it's a big reward to myself. Opening Castle Grayskull and putting it together and putting it on the shelf in that toy room over there in my office was the big reward for me finally starting to move towards the shelving. It was supposed to happen the first week we were in this apartment. We've been in here almost 3 years. It happened middle of last year. But, you know, we're doing the work, as people say. Like, you got to put in the work to get the stuff out of this, right? So it's been a rough going the last couple of years since losing the job. But I've learned so much about myself. My marriage has gotten even better, stronger. We're doing better. She's doing better. I'm doing better. We know places that we have to grow as we want to grow as people, places where we want to get healthier. So I think it's time well spent, but unfortunately it kind of, the hobbies really fell by the wayside, right, during all of this. But now it's like, okay, you're primed and ready to really go full tilt in this new space. Because I know for a fact we're going to be there at a bare minimum a year. Because once I start a new job, you got to wait a year before anyone's going to finance you, even if you have a large down payment, which we do. They still want you to have at least a year of job security before moving into that. So whether it's an entrepreneurship kind of a thing, a small business kind of a thing, or it's working for somebody else, whatever it ends up being, I have to wait a year working there to prove income and this and that and fun stuff. So that's why I'm just throwing myself into curating the toy collection there, because we have the space. We have the space to work on the toy room. And that's the plan. And frankly, there's a part of me that is, I'm not officially making this decision on paper or anything, but in the back of my mind, it's kind of like, you're not allowed to look for another house until you've got the toy room done. It's kind of the thing. Largo's Lair is here. Greetings to you, sir. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Ian asks if the Lord of the Rings figures are going on display. Fucking A, yes they are. Yes. One of those totes over here, and that's all Lord of the Rings. Okay? All of it. And 90% of them are loose, and I still have another full tote we have to pack yet of packs of packaged stuff. We have so much Lord of the Rings stuff you don't even know. Like, if we don't have 100, we're pushing 100 right now. Because they maintain their quality, like they hold up pretty well and are relatively inexpensive, and people tend to get rid of them for next to nothing. So yeah, they're going on display. I think I know where I want to put them, but it's going to come down to everything else. And that was an agreement that Lauren and I made. So I told her I wanted it to be a prominent display, and while she agreed to that, she says, I want the rest of our collection out first. And that's just the way she is. But to put that amount of time into all of those characters, I feel like you want to make sure you've got some cool display options there. You know, Badger invested in this really kick-ass Lord of the Rings sign, 3D printed sign for us. And we're going to put that up. We're going to have all the different eras and stuff. We've got a little bit of army building. Like, if you want to do a scene with Wraiths, we got you covered. We got a bunch of Wraiths, which is good. And then we have the Fell Beast, which will be flying over. We've got a couple steeds. We've got a horse, at least one or two horses, and then we've got the actual, like, the beastie. I forget the name of it. We got a couple orcs, a couple urukais, bunch of elves, bunch of hobbits. So there's places we have to fill in some stuff. But that's okay. And we have some spares. Like, we're probably not going to, like this initial display is probably just going to be one or two of each character, depending upon which one she favors the most, and make just an overarching nice display. And then once we get even more space in a five ever home, might go a little more nuts with it. It just depends upon how much space I'm able to allocate to it. I'd love to allocate a whole, 2 meter by 1 meter table to it if I could. And we might be able to do that. We'll see. I am also particularly looking forward to that as well, my friend. I am. So, those of you that are just joining, we actually already went through my very first video on this channel, my first toy collecting video on this channel. We went through and talked about the move, how packing's been going. I showed the process, showed the new toy room, talked more about the display options in there and the flooring, showed off a huge haul from just today. It's like I'm making all this progress packing and more toys just arrived. It feels counterproductive, but here we are. And I was honestly winding down a little bit. If there's anything you guys wanted to talk about, I'm game for that. But this is really as much about you as anything else, because without you guys, this channel doesn't exist. Without you guys, a lot of this collection doesn't exist. And without you guys, parts of me wouldn't exist. So I'm happy to spend time with you guys tonight. One day I'll be able to display my Smog. One day. He's huge, isn't he? I mean, I haven't even looked. I don't even want to know what he goes for. I don't even want to know. Because somebody asked me, dude, are you gonna get a Smog? I'm like, well, we don't dig on the Hobbit movies, man. But to get a dragon in Lord of the Rings canon as a toy, you kind of want to get that, right? I'm looking around the room to see if I've forgotten anything, because we covered a lot in what, an hour and a half. Holy hour and a half. Jesus, where does the time go? I felt like I was rushing. I guess I wasn't. But I've just been thinking about you guys a lot as we move through all this stuff. No pun intended with the M word, but it's a lot, man. Like like when I'm in this room, I can look right here. I see all my movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, old VHSs, not just of films, but also of like performances from like bands and stuff that I was in. All my retro video games are here. I've got boxes of different things. I've got my cartoon collection, He-Man and Skeletor, on card on the shelf, because I wanted them to have a representation out here. Every room has a collection has touched it in some way. And it's such a way of life for us. I'm very grateful to have this life. I'm grateful to have the friends and the community that I have. I'm grateful to have the wife that I have, and my fur babies, and supportive family, and it feels good. And this is a celebration of that, and I get to share it with all you guys. It's the best feeling in the world, man. It really is. And this shirt, how cool is this shirt? I got this from Redbubble. I love Hills, man. I love this shirt. It's where my love of hot pretzels comes from. Where my love of ices comes from. I bought many, 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 many toys at Hills. Most notably, the Mask Firefly. I vividly remember that specific place, that specific toy. It's crazy. Jason says that Smog is a big wingspan, like 7-ish years ago, never been opened. Oof. That's harsh, man. Largo says collecting is fun, but it can steamroll you if you let it. Yes. And I think I've been letting it steamroll me a little bit over the years. And what we've been doing with this depackaging and putting it in the storage bins, that's been reconnecting me with a lot of the stuff and where I go, I really like that. And forcing myself into making the curation of the toy display when we get to Oregon being the hobby rather than waiting for the hobby to start once the toy display is done. So like for now, it's just like I just want to get there, and then we start setting stuff up. I'll make content as I go, and it'll be done when it's done. And I'm not gonna let it just sit there forever because I have space in that garage to work. That's what I've needed more than anything else. I need space to work. So I can put all these totes off to the side, set up tables, got the shelves. All right, cool. And then I can just get to work and keep shit out of my way that I don't need to work. Then having a separate office where I can make content till the cows come home and still have some toys in the background and whatever, like the more formal toy display, kind of like what you have, Largo, and you're upstairs as well. I think that's key. Making sure that office is a welcome place for me all the time and is completely devoid of toy room chaos, right? I think that's so important. And so I think just that simple change of separating toy room from office, but still having the presence of toys in that office, and having more space. Those two things just really are exciting me so much to do this stuff. Like it'll probably be like a week after we moved in before I even begin to think about getting down there and getting stuff done. But because plus I got to wait for, I haven't ordered the tables yet or anything. I'm not rushing it, but I'm also not going to drag my feet. I don't have any desire to. I just want to give myself a week to just acclimate to the place. And some of that's going to be just walking longer distances to the bathroom and going up and down stairs, which I haven't had to do consistently in a while. So that's going to take me some time. And once I'm physically acclimated to the place and feel more comfortable in our own skin, and I've helped Lauren unpack all of our stuff, then the toy collection can kind of have its day, but I'm not mad about it. I am looking forward to this process so much. I am very much looking forward to being able to say, okay, it's out of my hands now. We've done all the prep work. The toys are packed. The car and Gabby are on their way. The movers are on their way. We're on the plane. Basically once we get checked into that hotel on that first night in Portland, I'm going to take a big sigh of relief, and then just trust my movers, trust my driver, and the rest will happen the way it's meant to happen. Because, man, I'm ready for this, man. I'm really ready for this. For real. Ian says, the big trigger for me recently was getting a set of acrylic paint pens. I have a set of those. I've never used. I've had them for 4 years, never used them. Probably need to get a new set. Haven't stopped customizing since. The Figtober 2025 thing has been great fun after only being an observer last year. That's awesome, dude. I think I'm going to be customizing some of my stuff. Like some of my doubles is like, well, you custom stuff. I don't know where I'm at yet. So until we actually... Again, until you see everything you have, you don't know what you have. I know I've got several doubles. Some I want to keep, some I don't. And we'll see what happens with it. Jay says, no, this Smug was a limited edition one. 2-foot wingspan. They're on eBay for 200. 200's not bad for that. I'll have to look. That sounds really cool. Largo says, separation is necessity of space, but it helps me dedicate the layer shelves to toy photography and featured picture videos theoretically. Yeah. And Largo, you've been here since the beginning, right? Like, that for a while I had a dedicated photography space, and I never got around to using it here. I had one in the hotel and I used for a while, and then that suddenly became a storage space. And then I had one here, which I never used, and then it became where the 3D printer lives. And I want to get back into that too because there's tons of stuff that I can print that'll be useful for all this stuff. And that is part of what I'm excited about too. Is like like last night, Lauren yelled from the office. She goes, "Shit, you not? Hey, I can see the 3D printer," because we haven't seen it in a long time. And we're just tearing down these skyscrapers of cardboard and plastic and getting them organized. It's a whole thing. And I keep thinking how long this is taking in my head. But the reality is, once we get all of the packaged stuff that should be out of packages, completely out of packages, everything else is loose. And then you just take stuff and just get it into the right bins and you're done. So it feels like we're idling sometimes. But we're a lot closer than I think either of us realize. Largo continues. The upstairs area must be movie-related toys and random stuff. Doesn't have a diorama yet. Yeah, so like and that's probably what's going to happen in my office. So in the upstairs office, all the Mego stuff I have is going to be in there. All my NECA stuff is going to be in there. So Freddie and Jason are going to be in there. And Big Bad just had a sale. They've been having sales daily. And they have the Ultimate Alf, 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 for $20. I said, for $20, I'll buy an Ultimate Alf. So those are all going to go in there. All my Masterverse stuff. So and all that is just He-Man, Skeletor, She-Ra, and Hordak. And then at least the movie-based McFarlane DC stuff will go in there. So like the 89 Batman, 89 Batmobile, Christopher Reeve Superman, at a minimum, those are going to go in that shelf. Possibly / probably the other 7-inch DC stuff will go in there alongside the Mezco and Mafex stuff that we have. Like the nice stuff is going to go in there. Because it'll look more sleek and more professional. And then once we're in the larger office in a 5-ever house, that'll be a bigger shelf space and stuff. I love you too, sweetie. Say hello, Lauren, everybody. Hey. You want to come say hi? She pointed at her head like, I have hair. Mine's not any better. Wuss. Wuss. I love you. I thought I was wrapping up, but people are showing up when we're talking, so we'll see. But yeah, the office is going to be, what I would call the most obvious nice stuff. And then when I get a larger office in a 5-ever house, I have a vision for a much larger shelving set will kind of expand a little bit. But hell, even some of these large dinosaurs will probably maybe end up in an office. I don't know yet. It'll be fun. Billy Whift is in the house. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Nice to see ya. Garcia says, I'm realizing now that the new Haya Ghidorah I got in last week also has a 2-foot wingspan. Damn dragons are space hogs. You're not wrong. But it says, I was going to go live again, but I'm still having some stupid issue on YouTube Studio. Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. JLS Comics is here. Says, congrats on 12 years. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Hope you're well. Ian says, hey, Lauren. Ian says, hey, Lauren. And Lissa Gal's here waving with a pink hand, apparently. Well, hello. Nice to see you. I hope you are well. Your artwork is really impressing me lately. It's always impressed me, but more of the stuff that you've been posting lately, I've been like, yeah, that's good shit. Oh, I was just saying, hey, Lauren, for Ian, who said, hey, Lauren, in the chat. Ian. I hope you heard her. She says, hi, Ian. You all right? Yeah. Don't wreck the place or yourself. I love you. Love you. All right. But, yeah, 12 years. Crazy. Those of you just joining, everything I had planned, I've already kind of ripped through all of that content, so we're just kind of hanging out now. So I apologize for that. But we looked at my first ever video on this channel, my first toy collecting video on this channel. We looked at, I showed kind of the process of what we've been doing, which is depackaging and putting toys in storage bins, and that how that process has been going as we prepare for the move. Showed off the house a little bit and kind of talked about what the display is going to be like and what the plans for the future are going to be like, and waxed nostalgic a little bit about the channel and stuff. We've kind of been through a lot here today, and with that in mind, I got to be honest. I did not think this stream was going to go this long, and I've been having an absolutely wonderful time. But I probably should bring it to an end for now. But I really appreciate everyone that's been here from the beginning of the stream to the ones that just got here, hanging out, some with advice, some with accolades, some with congratulations, and everything in between. Holy shit. Panda is here. Now I got to stick around a little longer. He said, Mom! Lol. For those of you who don't know, people on Twitch call me Mom. It's true. We're simulcasting on Twitch and YouTube right now. And Panda's from my Twitch days. We used to play Destiny together all the time. Now she plays Apex a lot. Oh, she goes, oh, I just want to say hello. In other words, I'm not staying. You're not worth watching. I just want to say hi. I know you're just coming off your own stream probably. It's totally okay. I love you. It's good to see you. But with everything, going on, it just suddenly I had an alert pop up that said, hey, your channel anniversary is coming up. And I knew I wasn't going to do the charity stream that I wanted to do, which we're going to do later. We're going to do later. I'm going to make up for it. Well, thank you for clarifying, Panda. She says, you don't need to stay for me. That's what I'm saying. I know you're saying that. There's a lot of other people that just showed up, too. So maybe I'll tell you what. We'll go to the top of the hour. Go to the top of the hour. Give you guys a shot at interacting. But it's really crazy to think about what's happened in the last 12 years. Starting off as just a little bit of very casual gaming commentary, moving into a hardcore streamer, hardcore Destiny player, and then getting more into, social stuff. There's a stream of videos where I would just talk before I would do a single piece of gameplay. I would talk for like an hour or more about whatever was on my mind. And that, I think, was some of the best live streaming I've ever done. And then we took a small break because moving up here and the movie and everything and the hotel room and stuff. And then in 21, we start toy collecting out of nowhere. And if you told me 13 years ago where we've been and where we're going, I really don't know what I would have said. In 2013, I'd be like, what? What are you talking about? Because I know what I would have thought was going to happen, and that did not happen. That's for sure. August Lower says, for 12th anniversary, traditional gifts are silk or linen. Send you some silk stockings. How about this? No, I'm good. It's all right. The soft goods on the Mezco Spidey you sent me back in 21, 22, that's silky enough. Appreciate you, brother. Panda says the Destiny days were quite a time. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. I still play Destiny, but not nearly as much as I used to. And I certainly don't stream it. I've let Destiny become a game I play. It's crazy, and with it. I'm sorry. With collecting toys and everything, it has gone close to this idea of, well, I can't open that yet because I haven't done a video on it. And I sometime last year, I just said, fuck that. I'm going to open what I want when I want. It's my toys, and then I'll make a video on it when I feel like it. And that's kind of where things are moving. Once we get, we start the toy room set up, don't expect to see packaging all the time. You know, I'm gonna open the toy when I fucking feel like it. I'm gonna turn on the camera when I fucking feel like it. There's gonna be more regularity with the videos, more regularity with streams and stuff like that, because I want to do that. I would like to enjoy that again. But I don't have. I feel zero obligation to be that intimate with the process of receiving and opening a toy. There are hundreds, thousands of people that will like faceless. They'll just show a toy on camera. Look at this. And they open it, and they talk about it. You know what the package looks like. You don't need me to show you that. So if you want to hear what I have to say about a toy, you're going to just get that information. Same thing goes with a video game or anything else. I'm not going to suck the joy out of collecting by receiving something, getting a tiny dopamine hit, and then setting it aside until I'm allowed to get a first impression of it. That's bullshit. So I think that was a failure of my channel. I think many channels for a long time. Like you stop feeling the joy of this stuff because it feels like work. And luckily, I think I've gone past most of that and have evolved, right? And with Destiny, it had to be like, I'm just playing for me. And so, yeah, I play that video game just for me. If it's more than 2 hours a week, I'm surprised. But I enjoy the time that I'm on, you know. Ian says that he has a feeling I might like the artwork of Van Williamson. Okay. On Instagram. Okay. Cool. I'm not going to remember that, Ian. So if you could send me a direct message on Instagram linking me to his stuff, I would really appreciate it. Because I'm always up for stuff that I like. So, but again, I feel like it's the joy of collecting is receiving the thing and then utilizing the item and for whatever it's used for. So like movie collections, I love just popping the disc in and hit and play. Or redeeming the digital code, watching it that way, whatever. And with a toy, I love ripping the thing open. You know, like I got to show Lauren that twice in the past couple days, where like I have multiples of the vintage collection Snowtroopers. I only keep one card back of anything that I buy. If I have multiples, I keep one card back, maybe two, depending upon if there's a variant or something, maybe, but even then, probably not. So I'm just ripping open Snowtroopers and putting them in bags. She's like, wow. She's like, that's so much easier. I'm like, I know. I wish I could do that, but I just won't. I just got your message, Ian. Thank you. And I got, I caught her off guard the first time I did it. It was with it's a double of Battle Armor He-Man. No, Flying Fish He-Man with the spinny thing. The one that I have on the shelf, his knees are weak. And he just melts. He goes, brrr, and falls off. So I ended up putting him in a Wind Raider or something. But I still want one that stands up. And he was on sale for $9. So I bought one. And sure enough, he's got perfectly stiff legs. But I was like, check this out, babe. And I just ripped it open. She's like, what? Because I normally meticulously cut bubbles away from the card. And I keep the card as pristine as I can. In fact, there's a whole box of just cards in these storage bins. It's just cards. And there's way more cards in there. And I'm eventually going to get those put into binders and whatnot. Like, that's something. Once I get all the cards in one place, it's going to be one of these things where we just bring the box up to the living room. And while we're watching, like, Monday Night Raw or something, you start sorting them by toy line. Have them separate, and then put them in these binders and stuff. What? Ace Frehley died. Wow. That guy, that sucks, man. I'm not a big Kiss fan, but I love what Kiss did for so many musicians that I respect and love. So I have big place in my heart for Kiss and everything, and Ace was certainly a big part of that legacy. You know, I don't know how old he was, but it still feels like it's too soon, right? Still too young, don't you think? Wow, that sucks, man. Thanks for passing that on, JLS. I don't know. I haven't seen any headlines or anything. We've been here for 2 hours, but wow. Cheers to you, Ace, man. Thanks for writing some great songs. My favorite Kiss song is Parasite. That's crazy. That is crazy. Um, wow. Mm. Phew. 74. You're 74. Well, I would not venture to say that that's too young. It's certainly younger than I would hope him to be able to stick around for, because he deserved a long life, I think, and a lot of people deserve to live longer. But on the other end of the spectrum, that guy did not treat his body very well for a long time. So the fact that he lived that long is probably a blessing in and of itself. And as long as he's not suffering, he left a lot of people happy on this earth. So big cauldron to win for him. And wow, man, that's a big one. That's a big one. Yeah. No, you're good, JLS. It's okay. It's okay. Nothing wrong with that, man. Um, just with there's been a lot of loss surrounding this house the last couple of months. So, Ace Frehley, on a different day, I might be a little less ambivalent about it. But that's just about it, isn't it? But that's the cool thing about this channel and this community and everything. As far as I'm concerned, we're just getting started. We're 12 years into this shit, and I'm still learning how to do it. Next year will be 20 years on YouTube, and I'm still learning. Every day I'm still learning about what I want to do, how I want to do it, and who I want to do it with. Lauren and I still talk about doing a YouTube channel of our own, just the two of us reacting to stuff, kind of stealing best of the worst format, and just doing a lo-fi version of that. And we'll do it someday. But again, I think the move was kind of like, well, let's just wait till we move. And that might come. I'm going to be getting back into writing and recording music, so that the other channel, the Grindhead Gym music channel, is going to be more active again too. I just want to take the training wheels off and just run, with everything. I want to do more toys. I want to do more with movies. I want to do more with games to a certain degree. Like, I would love to get back on Twitch and do some gaming streams just for fun. Got a lot more VR gear now than I did when it first came out, and I'd like to do some VR stuff again. And but for me, this time around, like this second phase of everything, third, fourth phase, whatever you want to call it, I'm gonna do what I want to do to have fun. And if I can document myself having fun, that's the jam. I am not going to force anything anymore. So it's less about me trying to give you what I think you want and just showing you this is how I have fun, and documenting it and hoping you enjoy it, if that makes sense. So that's what's coming next, guys. I love you very much. It's been the 2 hours. Please catch the replay, and I hope you enjoy everything, and leave comments. Tell me what you liked. Tell me what your hopes are moving forward. Tell me how I'm an idiot for buying these gigantic dinosaurs. But in the meantime, may all your card backs be straight. May all your grinds be merry. And may you be able to find anything you're looking for at any given time at a price you feel is reasonable. Especially if it takes you 12 years to decide. Shit. I'm out of here. Good night. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you.